Hello, and welcome to episode 27 of Pixel Focus Podcast, your dose of insights and updates into the world of virtual photography. This episode is a community lens episode where we take a look at a particular VP community. Today we're jumping into the world of Warframe, and we have a guest with us, or Tenno, as the players call themselves, which we'll introduce in a few minutes. Thanks everyone for listening to the show as always. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm N7, and with me is G, my amazing co-host. So, son, how long have you been a Tenno?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I've been playing Warframe since 2015, I think. Yeah, so it's been a while. A bit of a dinosaur.
Very cool.
How about you?
Since launch, 2013.
For some reason, I thought you said lunch.
Yeah, since
I'm
lunch. Yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
on since like 12 o'clock, bro.
Yeah, not too long, but yeah, pretty much early start and days and all that. I did not get
Okay.
Xcal Prime though because I was back with
man.
my parents and I did not have a job back then, so I couldn't spend the money for it. But I was there when I saw the big shiny Excalibur. So
Hey, well, no, that's pretty dope. I know a few friends of mine who are founders pack individuals, but I as you know, since I came in 2015 on the PlayStation, I didn't have that chance. So
yeah.
yeah, but all good. All things, work together for good. We're straight. We're cool.
Yep. So welcome everyone who's listening live. And do we have any news today?
So we don't really have any news for today. However, I do have a little bit of an announcement. I did want to let everybody know that your boy will be starting to stream and do YouTube videos pretty soon here. Gonna be going across, different content besides just VP. So if you guys want to check that out, again, at sun_OG5 for any and all platforms other than Instagram, I think, which is like VP at the end of it. So yeah. So if you guys want to check that out, definitely feel free to. I would definitely appreciate it as well.
Very nice, very nice.
All right. Well, considering we don't have any news for today, we're going to go ahead and get straight into it, my guy. So, today we have a very special guest who will be discussing the virtual photography and overall creator community scene within the game Warframe, as we did aforemention. And he is a Captura artist and official content creator for Warframe. That's big up.
Nice.
Mr. PurpleFlurp himself. Go ahead and give a hand for Mr. PurpleFlurp, man.
Hello.
Wow.
Welcome.
I mean, you didn't give him a hand, really?
I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a loud clap or not, so I just did the golf clap.
I believe you.
I heard it in my heart.
I'm just gonna assume that anybody who's watching went ahead and clapped for us, so now it's not as awkward.
I don't have a soundboard for clapping.
I was about to say that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have that. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe a
we gotta
future
invest
episode.
we gotta invest in it for sure. All right, but anyway, welcome to the stage, Mr. PurpleFlurp. How you doing?
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm doing very well. It is a lovely Saturday afternoon.
Okay. That's what's up. We like to hear that. And everything going all right with the family and the like living situation, job, all that type of stuff, your whole personal life and now.
Yeah, everything's great. I'm actually gonna visit family in Florida in a couple weeks. So downside, going to Florida. Upside, seeing families.
That's awesome.
Nice.
All right. Sounds good. Well, guess we'll go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of it. So, Flurp.
Yes.
We have, I guess, a very specific topic today that you're quite acquainted with. Warframe.
Yes.
super awesome game that I've always loved for so many years at this point now. With the quote of ninjas play free, it's a okay, a lot of people will probably, designate it to be similar to Destiny or something like that. We're not even going to talk about that part, but for those of you who don't know the game, it does have similarities within it. It's space ninjas, even though it's kind of gone to like wizardry and other eldritch stuff
Yeah, we're not
lately.
really we're not really ninjas anymore for
Right.
the most part.
But yeah, so it's a pretty cool game where you go ahead and are this person called a Tenno, and you wield what's called a Warframe, which is a deathly sort of like robot human combo. Um, and you basically save the galaxy from any and all threats that come upon it. And it's pretty dope. So I would definitely suggest for those who have never played to go ahead and get on whatever platform you're on because it is a free to play game. So you guys can play that on any platform you want. The reason why we're actually mentioning it today, though, again, is because we will be focusing on the virtual photography and content creator scene within the game. So, Purple, I want to
Yes.
go ahead and hit you with the question of what is your favorite part about that community?
My favorite part about the Warframe virtual photography community. I
Mhm.
think the biggest thing I could say to that is just how many different perspectives you get
Okay.
when it comes to how people approach the photo mode, because
Mhm.
it's such a unique photo mode in that a lot of it is very freeform,
Right.
and it stems from how deep the customization system is in Warframe just in general. And then that kind of translates to how people take their shots. So you have not only the kind of player made fashion that people will
Mhm.
create for their characters, you'll also have how they take that fashion and translate it into pictures within the game and different scenes and different angles and lighting situations, et cetera, et cetera. So I think, yeah, the variety of different kind of viewpoints that you get
Mhm.
from different art pieces is my favorite part.
Okay. Cool. So it's kind of a little bit more customizable when it comes to taking photos, I guess.
For sure. Yeah, it's I like to describe it as kind of studio photography versus I guess street photography or
Mhm.
um so in a lot of photo modes for story driven games, I feel, at least in my experience, you're taking pictures of the story as it unfolds and locations
Right.
as you come across them, and you're kind of showing your perspective on that story. Whereas in Warframe, you don't really get to take pictures in the game itself. You're given kind of isolated instances of the
Mhm.
game, individual scenes to take pictures of and to put the characters in. And you kind of have to construct that story yourself in a way. So
Right.
you control so many different aspects of what you're shooting that you are kind of forced to develop your own story uh, to put forward. And you can obviously incorporate aspects of Warframe's actual story into your shots. But I think the beauty of Captura, which is the what the photo mode is called,
Mhm.
is that you do have that level of control and the ability to tell your own story in a way.
Right. So you could go either way. That's pretty cool. Okay. Yeah, so you can kind of stick to just the basis of what the game gives you, but you could also switch it up and make something totally outside of what the game is originally showing and portraying.
Right.
So, okay, cool. And within Captura, I do know that there's, different scenes and everything that you can acquire, which actually, if I'm remembering correctly, you have to go ahead and get each scene individually through the game in some form or fashion, right?
Yeah. So the individual scenes that you'll be able to shoot are basically individual items. A lot of them are tradable, so you can purchase them from other players. or earn them in game. Uh, so that's another huge difference when it comes to Warframe versus other photo modes. Is that a lot of it kind of ties back into the looter shooter grindy nature of the game itself.
Right.
So in a way, you kind of play the game in order to get access to more creative tools, which I think is really uh, interesting and neat.
Okay. Yeah. So you have to. Okay. Yeah. So you have to do that. You have to play the game in order to be able to take the kind of shots that you want to take sometimes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of like a double-edged sword because
Yeah.
whereas in other games, all you pretty much need to be off to the races is play the
Mhm.
game and then
Right.
just like walk through different areas. But in Warframe, it's kind of almost restrictive in how much you need to acquire before you can execute certain ideas. So while you do have a lot of freedom and you can basically portray anything you want, at a certain point, you
Hmm.
do have to get to the point in the game where you own a lot of the warframes or the characters, where you have a lot of cosmetics to customize them, a lot of color palettes to color them differently to match
Right.
scenes that you now have to acquire. So
Right.
it does strike me as kind of restrictive in that way.
Hmm.
Um, but once you do have all of those tools, it feels incredibly powerful with like what you can actually convey in the shots you're taking.
So to a degree, it's kind of rewarding.
Yeah, for sure. It's
Okay.
you you get rewarded with obviously the ability to play the game more efficiently because
Hmm.
you get mods and weapons and all that. But as you're going, you'll I have something else to take a picture of, or I have a new
Right.
cosmetic to experiment with, a new scene. So it's cool how it kind of all ties together as you progress.
Hey.
Yeah, I have a
Okay.
question. So for someone who's wanting to jump into Warf, like your one, I'm doing start off with this. Your pictures are amazing. When I was making the collage and getting everything set, I was just like, man, these are really good shots.
Right.
uh, but for someone who's seeing these shots, and like, man, I have Warframe. I already downloaded it or something like that. You said that you have to find the scenes. Is there like a easy like way of knowing, okay, this place is a scene that I can get, or is it more of like a trial and error? It's like you were going through the world and you're like, guessing? How does that work actually?
So some scenes are given to you by default. So there are just certain ones that you'll just have access to right away. Um, Others can be obtained in missions as rewards. And like I said, you can trade for them with other people. There are a bunch of different ways to get the scenes, and some of them are better than others. So I think for someone who's wanting to kind of jump into Captura, there are certain scenes to prioritize getting first, and a lot of those are pretty easy to obtain. So the corpus scenes, which are um, the more like tech oriented faction, are really good. They have really nice lighting within the scenes, leading lines. Those are very easy to obtain, and I think, recommend those first to
Hmm.
get. Um, and to your question about whether it's kind of like how confusing it is to kind of find the scenes and know what is a scene. If you go into the capture mode, they have pretty much all of the scenes lined up for you.
Oh, okay.
But they'll have like a lock icon on it if you don't know. You'll know it exists, but you'll probably have to. And if you hover over the square, it'll tell you where to get it.
Oh,
So
okay.
that at least is
Sweet.
pretty useful.
I was going to do a
Okay.
follow up. Is
So
like,
yeah.
do they tell you, or because I
Right.
know a lot of people, because for a bit I did Warframe, just streamed it and all that, and a lot of people would come in and it's like, I do not like Warframe because it doesn't hold my hand in a sense. But they use other
Oh yeah,
words. But basically, summary is Warframe is like, hey, I'm going to dump you in this world. Have fun. Some people
yeah.
like
It's
it, some people do not like it. And so I'm just trying to, for those who are like, I need a little bit more guidance on that. That was sort of, that spurred the question there.
yeah. There's definitely an adjustment period, and kind of a big initial learning hurdle when it comes to Warframe. You do have to kind of be comfortable with googling a lot of questions you might have about
Hmm.
progression and where to obtain certain items and how to build certain things. But once you kind of get over that hump, it's pretty natural, and you kind of get the hang of it pretty fast. I think my wife a couple years ago started playing the game because I was obsessed with it, and she wanted to join me, and she started out and was like initially incredibly confused by everything, but she's really good at research. So within like a month, she was like making spreadsheets about what she wanted to do next and
Wow, that's
kind
awesome.
of how what mods she wanted to go for, which frames she had left to get. So I think once you kind of get deep enough into it, and I don't think it's that bad, and they've improved the new player experience a decent amount.
Hmm.
Um, it gets a lot easier. Um, I think Captura mode is very challenging to get into initially because the default settings aren't spectacular right now, and they haven't been for a while.
Hmm.
A lot of people who are familiar with virtual photography will know to change certain settings by default. Like you should lower the field of view to get rid
Right.
of the weird stretchy lens. You should turn off depth of field if it's making the shot look blurry. Like these are things that aren't obvious to people who are loading into Captura for the first time. And there are a lot of things that I try very hard to kind of guide people uh, away from or towards, depending on the settings that should be adjusted. It's just very not user friendly initially.
Hmm.
Mhm. Yeah, son, I have a question for you. There's sort of like a
Oh,
little bit
sure.
of tie-in to. I wasn't sure if it was. I think it was the charity drive something, but I
Okay.
think it was a challenge where, yeah, your guest you brought on, y'all were going to jump into a game that you were not very familiar with, the VP one.
Hmm.
You chose Warframe, and I
Right.
think your other guest was Batman something. I think that was it.
Yeah, I think Gotham Knights he
Yeah,
chose.
so when your comment was this is very different from used to, and there were things that you were not liking, but now I've seen a few pictures that you've done,
Hmm.
that you posted. Has that mindset changed, and is there anything that from that initial start of not understanding the VP to now taking some shots, is there some like any helpful tips that you've found from back then to now?
Yeah, actually. So I at the time when we were doing the charity event, I was primarily accustomed to Spider-Man's photo mode, I believe.
Mhm.
Um, which is a very like, in-depth one. It has a whole lot of bells and whistles that a lot of other photo modes don't have. But afterwards, so I did struggle because it was unfamiliar to me once I went into Warframe because obviously it wasn't like the Spider-Man one, right? Um, but when I started going into other photo modes and trying out new things and everything like that, and just seeing the differences between each one, it gave me a kind of overall understanding of photo modes just as a whole. Um, and that allowed me to then, when I came back to try Warframe's Captura photo mode, it it definitely helped me to understand like, okay, this is how I use this tool in this game, right?
Mm.
So I would say going and maybe playing other games and using those photo modes to get accustomed with things outside of your comfort zone will definitely help you to understand more of an overall aspect as to how to use many different ones. So when you go into something like Warframes, it won't be so foreign to you, you know?
Hmm.
So that's what I would say.
Very cool.
But yeah, no, that was a good question there, sir. That was a good question. I didn't expect that. um, but I'm gonna go ahead and flip it back over to Purple. So, you have actually, I think you mentioned your own community on Discord in which there's plenty of, as they're called, Captura artists, or virtual photographers within Warframe. Um, what kind of got you to create that community, and what is it that you all do there for the most part?
Sure. So when I was starting out taking pictures, I
Hmm.
joined a community initially by a gentleman who goes by the Average Joe. On
Hmm.
he's not really, he posts pictures sometimes, but he's mostly retired at this point. But
Hmm.
he had a Discord community that I was a part of, and it just was filled with people who were aspiring capture artists and wanted to improve and were sharing their pictures. And I think that was super vital. Having that community aspect was super vital to me kind of improving and learning how to improve.
Hmm.
So when I became an official Warframe content creator, I was like, okay, I would love to be able to start a community like that and have
Right.
it serve the express purpose of kind of elevating people's shots and kind of getting them to a point where they can improve on their own and practice and get the resources they need to get started and continue to improve. So the name of my server is Capture Artist Academy because that is
Mm.
the express goal. I
Hmm.
really just want people to be able to learn and ask questions and get help. So that was the main goal of the server. And I think I've seen so many different people over. I think the server's been up for like 2 years now, and I've seen so
Wow,
many people.
congrats.
Oh, thank you. And I've seen people like start out and show promise, and then over those 2 years, just keep taking shots, keep posting improvements, and a
Hmm.
lot of people have gone really far from where they started, and it's just awesome to see.
Nice. Okay, yeah. No, that's really cool. It's really awesome to always, have almost like a community within a community, you know?
It's
Um,
such a niche. It's like it's
yeah,
because Warframe is already one specific video game, and then you
yeah.
have the specific niche within that niche of Captura, and then you
Hmm.
have even more of a niche of people who want to keep doing Captura and keep improving at it and get
Right.
that deep into a community for it. So
Hmm.
it's just niches within niches, and
Right.
And then
it's
you're
so
talking
hyper
about
specific.
VP, which is niche as well. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
like
VP
a
is
whole new.
Exactly. Exactly. So like if like even relative to the VP community at large, which is already like you said, it's a pretty tiny niche relatively speaking. Then you have this niche of Warframe virtual photography specifically,
Hmm.
and it's interesting to think about, especially when you consider how uh, kind of uh, insulated Captura is from the VP scene at large. It does feel
Yeah.
that way sometimes.
Yeah, it
No,
feels like a
it honestly
microscope,
is.
where you have the big one and then it starts zooming in the more and more. That's
Right.
what I feel like we're talking about. It's just like, oh, but there's more, there's more, there's more. Just keep on
Right.
smaller.
Exactly.
And it's honestly so kind of crazy to me to a degree as to how separated from the VP community it is. It I mean, if I'm being honest, when I came in last year sometime, just into the virtual photography scene at all, within social media, when you look on like Twitter, right? You see, as soon as you actually start getting into and delving into the virtual photography community or the VP community, you start seeing, a lot of certain games and everything, Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption, I mean, Last of Us, what have you, right? But all of a sudden, I just kind of thought, I was like, you know, Captura mode is a thing in Warframe. Why am I never seeing any Warframe shops like ever? And
Yeah.
yeah,
It does kind of
and I
exist
think
in
you
its
were the
own
first.
sphere.
Hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you were the
Um,
first one I saw.
yeah, it's like it exists kind of in its own sphere, and then once you kind of like poke into it, you're like inundated, and you're like, oh, there's just so many people doing this within the world, like you know, relatively speaking, obviously.
Hmm.
Um, but I am still learning about like virtual photography people who are just taking pictures in a variety of different games, and I'm finding them slowly but surely. Because up until like recently ish, I've only really been interacting with Warframe people specifically. So it's kind of the
Mhm.
opposite for me, where I'm kind of been
Right.
in my little bubble and then slowly breaking out.
Hmm.
We
Yeah.
got
No, I
uh,
mean, yeah. Oh, wait,
yeah,
go ahead.
we got a comment from one of our viewers, Rollin, who says, "What I find interesting about Captura is compared to the virtual photography for other games, is that Captura is somewhat free from the game's themes, like in Spider-Man or GOT. First, in the
Hmm.
themes of these games, every photo you take, like Ghost of Tsushima, which is GOT, I'm assuming, to a
Hmm.
degree,
Yeah.
but about samurais, which is the core. While Warframe, you can basically anything thematically, which I think is a pretty cool comment on that. So
Yeah,
Yeah. No, that's
it's
awesome.
so accurate too, because you can basically portray anything you want given the range of cosmetics in the game. So
Hmm.
if I have a skin for a Warframe that makes it look uh like this picture here, like like specifically like a ninja, I can
Hmm.
take that and then pick a scene that matches that vibe and then convey something like that. I can take a skin that maybe looks like a knight, do a fantasy theme with a sword.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just use so much given the options that you have.
like
Um,
your
Right.
photo
like I,
of can I call it a horse? Like, is a horse-like
yeah,
creature. I'm going to say
yeah.
that. So one of
It's called
your
a
slides.
cave, but it is a horse
Okay.
skin.
Yeah, but for like for someone who's outside, looking at that photo, it can be mistaken for like her Horizon Forbidden West or like a Horizon series because just how the aesthetic is like, oh, that actually looks pretty similar, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can pretty much like you said, like if you're looking at Spider-Man, you
Hmm.
have certain expectations for what you're going to see, and you're
Right.
pretty much going to see that. You're going to see Spider-Man doing Spider-Man things.
Hmm.
Um, Obviously through the lens of the individual virtual photographer taking the picture, and that's what makes it exciting is getting that different perspective. Um, but in Warframe, you are almost almost forced in a lot of ways to kind of construct that level of interest yourself. Like a Warframe is interesting to look at because they're just interesting subjects. But then beyond that, you have just so much freedom to take it even further beyond. And uh, like I said before, tell your own story.
Yeah. No, definitely. That's it's so cool that you have just the power to basically create instead of being fixated. I know some other games kind of have that too, like Cyberpunk. There's a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of people who do things like that in there because of all the mod scene, right?
Hmm.
But just the fact that you can do that without having mods in Warframe, it just is almost like it's built in.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, it does feel kind of like Blender light
Hmm.
sometimes because you just have so much freedom with where you're putting the subjects and how you're posing them and framing them and using backgrounds.
Right.
I actually tried learning Blender to take kind of Destiny renders a while ago, and I started doing it with Warframe, and this is probably just bad in general, but I fell off of it because I was like, it would take me so long to get to the point where I am at in Captura in
Hmm.
Blender, because in Captura I feel already capable of portraying basically anything I want,
Right.
uh, because I've just been doing it for so long.
Hmm.
It feels like I'd have to put so many more hours into Blender, but it's something I do want to go back to eventually, just because I do feel like a lot of the skills are transferable.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, yeah. No, I mean that's certainly something that I would say would be a good thing on your part if you went ahead and kept practicing it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
that's one thing that's unfortunate about Captura is that if
Hmm.
God forbid sometime in the future Warframe shuts down, that's a complete like zeroing of the photo mode. Like I will not be able to access it anymore because it is a live service game.
Hmm.
Right.
And that that's very upsetting to think about. And I guess learning Blender would be a way of kind of uh, taking those skills and transferring them and being able
Hmm.
to continue to take pictures of Warframe specifically, of course.
Right.
But yeah, that is a an unfortunate uh, thing about Captura compared to other single player story games is that
Mhm.
if the game ever dies, that's that.
Yeah, yeah, that is pretty unfortunate. But thankfully, for the time being, it's thriving. And actually, to be honest, from what I've seen, it seems like it's been boosting lately.
Yeah, post TennoCon always TennoCon is like the uh, Warframe specific convention that happens every year,
Hmm.
and post that happening, there's usually a lot of announcements and a lot of hype surrounding the game. So we get
Right.
an influx of new players, uh,
Hmm.
and as a result, a boosted interest in virtual photography and Captura as well, which is really a nice side effect. Um,
Okay.
but we're
Awesome.
doing really well right now. I think there's a lot of
Yeah.
hype surrounding the upcoming update, Warframe 1999, and
Yeah.
a lot of people are excited to see what they do with that. And yeah, it's just neat seeing the game continue to be in a healthy place.
Yeah. And actually, we do have a comment in here. Bro sign cool says PurpleFlurp's blender is good. He is just too shy to admit it.
It is not, but I'm I need to get better at kind of creating environments and
Hmm.
understanding how to get certain objects looking not terrible in a scene. But if you hand me all of that, I can just do what I do in Captura and pose it however I want, and that's that. But uh,
Right.
Could you explain a
beyond that,
little
there's
bit?
just so much.
Could you
Yeah, yeah.
explain a little bit of what, for people like Blender, what is that, and what are you doing with that for people who
Sure.
might not know?
So,
Hmm.
Blender is just a program that you can use to basically create 3D art. Um, that's it's a free program. I'm not too experienced with it, but it's a free program that you can use to kind of create and port in 3D objects and kind of mess around with them and
Hmm.
use it to create effects for videos. You can use it to create 3D renders of characters and environments. And that's pretty much what that is. So it's a lot of virtual photography skills do translate to that because you are
Really?
taking a character and posing it against a background. And if you're I feel like if you are strong at virtual photography,
Hmm.
you'll be good at constructing a shot in Blender.
Hmm.
It's really every other aspect of Blender that kind of can get in your way because
Right. Right.
it's very complicated. Kind of getting the characters in a state where you can use them, getting
Hmm.
environments in a state where you use them, and then messing with the lighting. So big learning curve, but very strong tool.
Yeah. And once you get the kind of complicated aspects down, it's probably smooth sailing from there.
Yeah, well, maybe not smooth sailing, but it does get a lot easier. There are some
Hey.
people in the Warframe community who make
Hmm.
absolutely stellar pieces of art using Blender. Kret Die, I think I'm pronouncing his name wrong, uh, but yeah, Kret makes amazing Warframe blenders.
Okay. Yeah. So so now, first of all, before we even continue, I want to say, hey, yo, no, we gonna let them, have some boosted confidence as to their blender ability. So we gonna say it's smooth sailing after you get all those difficult parts done. But no, I actually wanted to bring back a topic that you had mentioned, TennoCon. With TennoCon, have you been yourself?
Yeah, I actually went last year for the first time in person,
Okay. Hmm.
because that was the first TennoCon they had post COVID, where it was actually in person, and that was a really fun time. I enjoyed just meeting everyone, and I
Right.
had a there was a an art showcase on site where it was like a museum where they printed out, framed, and hung up a bunch of art pieces from across the community, and I was deeply honored because they asked me to kind of submit two of my shots to have
Oh.
hung up there.
Oh
That was
wow,
really
that's
cool to see
awesome.
in person.
Yeah, dude. Wow, that's dope. Okay. So
Now,
you yeah. Oh wait, go ahead. And so
yeah. So following up with that, in your intro, you're a Warframe content creator. Were you asked into the program because of your shots, or was it because of something else?
Yeah, it was because of my Captura.
Hey, look at that.
Right after they retooled the program, they made it invite only. It used to be an application process where
Oh, did we lose him?
Hello?
info back. Hello?
Yep, there you go.
Welcome back.
Where did I cut out?
Started with your sentence, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. It's
Can
getting
you
so
hear us?
good.
Hello?
Oh boy.
Oh, there he is. There he is. Hello? Can you hear us?
Hey. Yes.
Hey, there you are.
All right, anyway. Take three. Let's go.
Okay, third time's a charm. The way it used to work for the content creator program was they would accept applications, and if you wanted to get into the program, you would apply and wait an obscenely long time for them to get back to you to either accept or reject you. And then a couple of years ago, they retooled it, so now it's invite only. So they will reach out to people who they want to join the creator program.
Wow.
So right after they made that change, I was part of the first wave of people that they reached out to get into the program. And it was like only kind of recently that they allowed Captura artists into the program. I missed the initial couple waves of that post that change, but I was able to get in a couple years ago, and it's been awesome. It's opened up a lot of opportunities for how I can kind of service my community,
right?
Because I get to give away platinum to people, kind of host Captura tournaments in my server where people can submit shots based on a theme, and then potentially win platinum and get feedback on their shots as well. So that's been very fun. And yeah, it's just opened up a lot of good opportunities.
Just for anybody who is unaware of what platinum is the premium currency within the game Warframe. So basically, he's able to go ahead and gift to the community for different events that he hosts, as he mentioned earlier, the premium currency for the game, which is dope that they gave him that opportunity.
Yeah, it's really cool. I will say, working with Digital Extremes and the community like team for Warframe has been a great experience. They really know how to treat their creators well, and they're super responsive. And the Captura tournaments in general are not a kind of like a given. I reached out to them and was like, "Hey, I would really like to do this event for my community. Would you guys be able to help out with that?" And they were like, "Yes, absolutely. Just give us all the details, and we'll make the platinum happen." So really great working with everyone on the community team.
And one cool thing about platinum too, for those who are not familiar with Warframe, is platinum is the currency. And so in those terms is you use your real money that you earn from work and put it into the game. Now the fun thing about this is not like a one and done deal. What you could do is you can grind materials or like a blueprint, and you can start a trade with someone who's actually used platinum, and you can get that platinum from them. So it has an in-game economy. So even if you don't put actual real life money into the game, you could actually get that currency yourself if you grind the game out. So it's a really cool market way. Yeah, so it's a free game, but there's an in-game market that you can just trade and get currency they can then buy, without even using real money, which is cool.
Yeah, you can do pretty much anything you want completely free, except certain cosmetics. And that is pretty much the only thing that's gated behind actual money. Everything else you can just grind for the in-game currency and use for whatever you want. All the actual relevant in-game things are grindable for free.
So I do have another question for you. Regarding the virtual photography scene of content creators, you did mention earlier that it was only recently that you noticed Captura artists being accepted within the creators program. Is that right?
Yeah, so I say recently is kind of loosely at this point,
Sure.
mostly because it was not initially a part of the program. It's
Hmm.
been about 4 years now, 4 or 5 years, since Captura was kind of recognized as a way to get into the creator program. Before
Right.
that, it was pretty much just uh, YouTubers and streamers.
So you'd say maybe
Um,
like 2019-ish,
I think maybe 2020, a little bit after
2020? Okay.
2020 was when
Mm.
they started accepting Captura artists into the program.
Okay, yeah, because I wanted to bring that up because there is, now that you mention that, a sort of parallel within the overall VP community or
Mhm.
virtual photography community, because we as a whole have kind of only recently started to have different developers and everything of games bring us into creator programs as content creators, as official
Right.
content creators, right? So it is actually really notable that the Warframe community, even though it's kind of got its own, separate area, it's still, again, running in parallel with the overall branching virtual photography community in that aspect. That's it's actually pretty awesome to know.
Yeah, no, they did a great job of kind of taking advantage of this side of the community, this niche within a niche, because
Hmm.
in a big way, virtual photography is a great way to advertise your game,
Right.
because it's you are seeing the game that they are developing
Hmm.
at its best, almost like all of the variety of cosmetics, the environments, the way that the characters look. uh, Virtual photography kind of shines the best possible light on it and can kind of get people interested. I can't count how many times I've gotten a comment on one of my shots where the person was like, maybe I'll check out Warframe now,
Hmm.
or this made me want to reinstall Warframe, or things like that. And it's like, all I can think about is if someone from Digital Extremes saw a comment like that, why
Hmm.
wouldn't they want more capture artists joining the creator program? Why wouldn't they
Right.
want more
Mhm.
free advertising for their game, essentially?
Yep.
And it's really cool that that's kind of catching on for virtual photography in general, because it is
Hmm.
free advertising for the most part,
Yep.
unless they're paying, which is even cooler.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what you were mentioning about the free advertising. That is definitely the general consensus amongst most virtual photographers when you talk to them about how they view what they do as a hobby, or some think of it further than that, kind of how they view their relationship to the developers. So
Yeah,
that is pretty again awesome to know that, kind of like, regardless of how niche you may be, the overall arching thought process is pretty much still the same,
yeah, and I
you
think a
know.
lot of people kind of underestimate how not only how much effort goes into virtual photography, but also how
Hmm.
significant it can be for a developer to have have so many people posting images of their game just
Yeah.
everywhere. Um,
And to catch them too, like on social media and everything. It's not easy
yeah,
feat.
for
Yeah.
sure, for sure.
Hmm. Okay. And now, regarding also the community itself again, are there any specific, like, Captura artists, considering this is a bit separate from what most people in the VP community have seen? Are there any Captura artists or virtual photographers within Warframe that you might want to shout out?
Yeah, sure. So I think first I'll shout out Salt or Energy Falcon.
Hmm.
They're an artist on Twitter. They also do traditional art,
Oh, okay,
digital art,
cool.
but also Captura. I think a big strength in a lot of Captura artists, not just Energy Falcon, who also do just digital art, is they kind of translate that to their Captura, and kind of get have that kind of creative twist on it. So they're an amazing artist. Rollin, who's in the chat, does a lot of amazing Captura edits, kind
Hmm.
of doing what we were talking about before the stream, where he kind of takes uh, editing ideas and kind of fuses them into his shots. So a
Mhm.
lot of really interesting things there. Um, God, there's so many people in the
Right.
community doing amazing things. So it's like it's hard to capture every single person. Um,
Wasn't there I forgot what his name or how to say it. Is it Rikens?
oh yeah, I think it's Rickens.
Rickens? Is
Rickens.
it
I,
Rickens?
I I always feel like I'm pronouncing it
Yeah.
wrong. But he does spectacular capture edit composites. So
Mhm.
a lot of his finished products are the result of like multiple shots being taken and spliced together in an appealing way.
Mhm.
So just a lot of creativity in general, just uh, from all aspects of this hobby. So you have people who are taking basically vanilla shots and kind of slightly editing them or leaving them alone and creating
Mhm.
something great. But you also have people who like Rickens who use editing tools to create something completely different.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. I do see also Brosign in here as well. I've seen Brosign in your community as well, and they've definitely put up some pretty cool things too from what I've seen.
Yeah, absolutely. Really
Yeah.
positive, positive individual. Just I think having that energy in the community is
Mhm.
super important because it keeps people around and keeps people excited to continuously improve. And they've also done a great job of improving, even within like the past like couple months. So
Awesome.
really cool to see that.
Yeah, and actually, from what I remember, the Warframe community itself is bustling with and brimming just with positivity, and helpful people, right?
Yeah, such a huge draw to Warframe in general. I think a big part of just the overall culture of Warframe is accepting new players with open arms and kind of giving them the tools they need to succeed. And
Hmm.
that's something that I think has gotten a lot better in Captura over the years. I think as information and tools and techniques for improving have gotten more readily available, it's been a lot easier to welcome new people and get them kind of up to speed. I remember when I was starting out, a big part of the community, it seemed, was someone would ask a question after seeing a really cool shot, like,
Hmm.
"Oh, how'd you get that effect?" or "What scene
Yeah.
is that?" And the response would usually be, "Tee hee, it's a secret." And that's just not. I feel like
Gatekeeping,
that's
got
not.
it.
Yeah, it's like it was like very competitive, like for no
Right.
reason. Um, it's just yeah, it's
Would you
very
want
very
to know?
competitive.
Haha.
Would you
Yeah.
want to
Yeah, I'll tell you, you can answer my riddles 3, but no, it's
Your
a
riddles
lot better
three, it's
now.
crazy.
It's a lot better now. And in my server, I have like an entire resources channel that I'm constantly trying to update
Hmm.
that has information that people can use to get better. I think it only services the community at large when more people are making cool stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think again, it it does kind of translate back over to the virtual photography community because there are a lot of people who are a little gatekeepy over there too. Uh
Yeah, I can imagine.
definitely, yeah, definitely not as much as before, but they have in the past, even from my short time of being here, I've seen where, some people do kind of say like, um oh, I can't necessarily, speak on that or yada yada yada. Um, and it's just kind of like, why? I mean, honestly, they could either ask somebody else or go look it up on YouTube or something like that. So why not just cut all of that hassle and just help somebody out, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. I think
Yeah.
it again, like it really only creates upside if more people are capable of making cool pictures.
Yeah.
That's really why we're here, right? We want to take cool pictures and we want to look at them. So,
Exactly. Exactly. And you, amongst many other Captura artists, are definitely taking some dope photos, and I would love, love, love to see more of you guys just being a part of the virtual photography community as a whole, because like I said, it's kind of rare to see a Warframe picture in any of the like overall communities such as like VGP network or the Photo Mode magazine or virtual photography retweet, right?
Yeah, I
Um,
have noticed that. It's there's a
yeah.
not too many capture artists seem to venture into that sphere, and I
Hmm.
don't think a lot of virtual photographers in general kind of uh explore Captura much for good reason. I
Right.
think like
Yeah.
it is pretty restrictive. You do
Hmm.
have to grind a decent amount to get
Hmm.
the tools that you would need to like fully unlock it.
Right.
Whereas in Spider-Man, you could just unlock a cool looking suit or mod one into the
Yeah.
game and then take pictures, and it looks amazing.
Hmm.
So there's definitely a hurdle there. But I would
Yeah.
love to kind of break out more into the virtual photography sphere just generally, and kind of
Hmm.
submit shots for contests and stuff. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah. Well, then in that case, we can say to you and all those who may be watching that are also virtual photographers themselves, from the Warframe community, if you guys want to get into the virtual photography sphere as a whole, definitely go ahead and on Twitter and in some cases Instagram, you can look up VGP Network. Another one is VPRT, which is Virtual Photography Retweet or VP Retweet, and the Photo Mode Magazine. They are all really, really great ways for you to go ahead and get any of your artwork out there. Really awesome ways for you guys to just communicate and network within the virtual photography scene itself. And who knows, maybe some people will start inspiring you to take photos in other games, and you can, get some of the skills that you learned there and apply it to your Captura scenes.
It that
So,
does happen. I've
yeah.
uh I've explored other photo modes like Cyberpunk and uh
Hmm.
the modded one for Baldur's Gate and et cetera, et cetera. And just it has helped a lot in
Right.
improving my Captura and kind of figuring out different ways to approach shots and framing and angles. So I think you can really only go improve by exploring other other photo modes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I would definitely say, even if you don't explore other photo modes just yet, do go ahead and hit up some of those pages because they will share your work, and and again, people within that community will also let you know about other things within the social media community for virtual photography so that you can be able to get your work out there and communicate with others.
For sure.
I will be actually putting these in the chat because we do have a couple of people asking about it. So give me just one moment. But N7, are you still here? I know you're muted at the moment. Oh, okay. I just wanted to go ahead and put out there while I'm putting this into the chat. Any final thoughts? And we'll start with Purple Flirt.
And final thoughts.
Yeah, we are at the end of our show. Actually,
Yeah,
it's 1:56.
sure. Final thoughts. I think if you are on the fence about playing Warframe or taking pictures in Warframe, I would say just go for it. I think just keep taking pictures, keep on grinding, and my philosophy when it comes to virtual photography is that if you've taken a picture and you can find at least one thing, however small, to enjoy about it, it was worth taking the picture because that's how you learn, that's how you improve. And uh, if you don't think like that, I think it's easy to kind of get disappointed and
Mhm.
to discouraged. So stay
Mhm.
positive, look for the positives in your own work, and keep on trucking.
All right. Yeah, those were some good final words, sir. I'm proud of you. Good job doing your
Thanks,
thing.
thanks.
N7, do you have any final words?
First of all, is for anyone who is watching this episode afterwards and on YouTube, check the description if you want to be part of the Discord community. There's a link there. Go and get involved. And for anyone who is in the Capture space and all that, and just learning about what we mentioned about the hashtags, just tag me N7_Specters. You can find me anywhere
tag
on
me as well.
socials. Just tag me and I'll send your stuff out to other people, get you more recognized. So
Yep.
yeah, use those hashtags as well, but don't hesitate to tag me. You're not bothering me at all. I'm finding that my Twitter post is, I barely use Twitter for posting for myself. I'm more using it as a platform to send and get recognition for everyone else. So you're not bothering me at all. I'm willing to spread the word about this because it's always fun seeing a smaller community grow because we're helping each other out. So
based.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess that leaves your boy. So I'm gonna go ahead and reiterate what N7 said as well. If you all want any kind of understanding as to, within the virtual photography scene, how to be seen, or any pages that you may want to come across so that you can get your work pushed further out there, and this goes for everybody who is watching, you can go ahead and contact me as well. That will be at sun_OG5. And on Instagram, if you are there, you can hit me up at sun_OG5BP. Like he said, you're not bothering us at all. We will definitely go ahead and respond to you and help you out the best way that we can. And also, anybody who's playing Warframe or is thinking about playing Warframe and starting to take Captura scenes, virtual photography within there, definitely go ahead and join into the Captura Artist Academy. They have so many different awesome things that you can do there, whether it be contests, lessons, or just hanging out. So definitely go ahead and join into the Captura Artist Academy. I'm also there as well, so if you do see me there, you can go ahead and say hi as well there. But yeah, so other than that, get your neck workouts done. You thought that I wasn't gonna talk about it, didn't you? I know you did. I know you thought I wasn't gonna talk about it, but I am. Because I know that some of y'all, especially, and you know what? Now, since all of y'all virtual photographers over in Warframe are here now, if you're taking verticals, because you probably didn't hear about this, start doing neck workouts, because I know your neck's tired from having to crook it all the way to the right and or left because you're trying to see what it looks like. So start doing those neck workouts, and you're not going to have to deal with that, okay? I'm not going to go as hard on you as some of these other people who have been here watching this, but, we gotta keep it level to a degree. So yeah, y'all start doing that and it'll help you out. Okay? All
Or just
right.
invest in neck braces like I did.
See, there you go. Or if you don't want to do your workouts, get a neck brace. Do something to help yourself
Or even
out.
better, just turn your monitor to the side.
That's a thing, but at the same time, in all honesty, the neck workouts is gonna probably be the best bet. So get them done. All right. Anyway, that is our show, Pixel Focus Podcast. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. Thank you, PurpleFlurp, for coming onto the scene. Before we go ahead and leave out, where can people find you?
So I'm on Twitter as PurpleFlurpWF. I used to be on Instagram, but don't look for me there. I'm pretty much not active at all. And yeah, I think when you look for my Twitter and find it, I have a card link in the description, so you can find my other platforms there. Mostly, I'm active on Twitter and Discord.
All right. Well, yep, that is our show. Again, thank you everybody for joining in. Thank you again, PurpleFlurp, for coming on to our show on a Saturday afternoon. Because
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, seriously. Anytime, dude. We're so happy that you're here and could help us get a little bit more insights and updates on the world of Warframe's virtual photography. So, with that being said, see you later, everybody, and see you on the next episode of Pixel Focus Podcast. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.